Hey, Abnar, are you angry that we called you on a Sunday? Huh? Huh? No, the way you're looking, you're very serious and grim and... So sorry, because I was here only today, so therefore I thought I'll just make you the... Pratham, kiska to Pehla Baishakhi Pehla Baishakhi is Suveksha, Savaike. And today, this Baishakhi is actually being observed all over the country as a mark of the centenary of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. And one would have expected that in Bengal, apart from the CPIM and the left, the people of Bengal will also be mobilized for such an important event, because Jallianwala Bagh massacre, apart from everything else, symbolized a certain unity of the Indian people. The number of Muslims who died in that massacre is much larger than the number of Sikhs. So this thing which is absolutely important in today's context, unfortunately has been missed out, and I think your preoccupation in Bengal has been more on Ram Navami now and the competitive communalism that is taking place between the BJP and the Trinamool Congress. And this competitive communalism, I was there in North Bengal yesterday, in Jalpaiguri, in constituencies, in Siliguri, as well as in Darjeeling. And unfortunately, what appears is that there is a sort of a mutual feeding of each other between the Trinamool and the BJP. And this is a very ominous sign for Bengal, because this sort of a competitive communalism is something that is going to just erase any space for any democratic civil activity. And from all the information that I have received, there also seems to be some sort of an understanding that is evolving, because ideologically and in terms of the objective, it suits both Trinamool and the BJP to have each other as the adversary, because they feed each other. The greater communal polarization from one end will feed the communal polarization from the other end. And this has unfortunately always been the problem with communalism and the communal forces. So I think even in the elections, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some degree of a tacit understanding between the two. And that draws the most important conclusion that we are appealing to the people of Bengal, that if BJP has to be defeated to save India, Trinamool Congress has to be defeated to save Bengal, then the only consistent force in this background is the CPIM and the left. So therefore our effort today and our appeal to the people of Bengal is realizing the gravity of the situation both in the country and in Bengal. This is something they must guard against. A vote to either of them to defeat either is actually helping the other. The feeling that you vote for Trinamool to defeat the BJP or vote for BJP to defeat the Trinamool is actually eventually going to strengthen both BJP and the Trinamool, and is absolutely counterproductive. So that is our sincere appeal to the people of Bengal, that in this election, which we consider is most crucial in independent India. This is crucial in the sense the outcome of these general elections will determine whether India will continue to remain a secular democratic republic as defined by our constitution or not. And that is why the importance of these elections, and that is why the importance of the need to defeat the BJP at the All India level. And we are fairly confident that at least I've now been in an election campaign in 8 states. This is the 9th. And this is only, one phase is over, so the campaign will naturally continue more intensely now. But from the general observation so far that I can tell you, it is clear that at the center, post-election, there is going to be an alternative secular government. Now it is this fear which is not only, it may be an assertion from my side, but it's a fear for the BJP. And therefore the Prime Minister yesterday has once again said that amongst the opposition there is a queue of future Prime Ministers. He has already once said, or the BJP has been propagating, what is the opposition's answer to Mr. Narendra Modi? Who is the opposition candidate? And the third thing is that this is a Khichdi Sarkar. This is a Khichdi, there's no really a Gadbandhan that has been formed before the elections. They're fighting each other. In so-and-so state they're fighting each other, so-and-so state they're fighting each other, etc. These are the three strains of arguments which the Prime Minister himself is giving. Now this is actually a flashback of the 2004 situation. What did we hear then? Who is the alternative to Mr. Vajpayee? The opposition coming together is only a Khichdi. They cannot sustain together. And who will be the Prime Minister? There will be a big fight. There won't be any unity. And then also what did they say? The CPIM and left are fighting in Bengal, the Congress, fighting in Kerala, fighting in Tripura, fighting in many other places. So how can they form an alternative government? Same arguments. What happened in 2004? All of us know. And the Prime Minister who came in 2004 was the longest serving continuous Prime Minister after Jawaharlal Nehru. Even Indira Gandhi did not do it for 10 years in a continuous manner. So we have faith in the people of India and they will decide like they decided in 2004. And it is inevitable in a country like India that various regional forces have... Okay. Sorry for the interruption. So it's not our fault, but it is inevitable in a country like India that you'll have different parties, different regional parties, different national parties having different levels of influence in different states. But then, when you have a situation whereby the requirement of the nation is such, the country and the people is such that you require an alternative government, despite all these differences that happened, not once but happened a number of times. 61 MPs, the left won in 2004, 57 of them went to Lok Sabha defeating the Congress. But then the left extended its support to the UPA government from the outside. So what happens in the state level before elections is not really very crucial to determine what happens post-election. Further, every time an alternate government came in India, the arrangement that established that alternate government was always formed post-election. 1977, Janata Party was formed post-election when Morarji Desai became the Prime Minister. 96, UP United Front was formed post-election when Devgowda became Prime Minister. 98, NDA was formed post-election when Vajpayee became Prime Minister. 2004, UPA was formed post-election when Manmohan Singh became the Prime Minister. 2019 also the same thing will happen. There will be a post-election formation of an alternative front that will form the next government at the center. And that much is fairly obvious from what I could gather from the people's mood. I'm not blaming the media and their surveys, but I think once again you're going to prove the point that none of the pre-electoral surveys is going to turn out to be true. That's always been the history of India. Never has it turned out to be correct, but this time also that will go to happen. But anyway, that's a point on the aside. The other thing is that day by day we find that this Modi government is getting drawn deeper into the rut of corruption and cronyism. Now this latest tax concessions to the Ambani company which is what? Reliance France Atlantic flag. Now this company is very strange, This company had, according to the investigation on the French government, French authorities, it had a tax dues that it had to pay between 2007 and 2010 of 60 million euros. That had grown, because Ambani had not paid, no settlement, that had grown to 151 million euros in 2015. Now 6 months after this Rafale deal is signed and announced by the Prime Minister after he goes to France, cancelling the earlier deal, paying 41% more money, Indian money, public money for 36 aircraft as compared to 126 aircraft. After this was done, all of a sudden you find that the French government settles for the same 7.3 million that Ambani offers, as against 151 million that is due. Now, I don't know, this is a dispute between a private Indian corporate and the French authorities and their investigation. But the alacrity with which the government of India through a PIB put out a news saying that there is nothing shady in this, government of India has nothing to do with it, it's got nothing to do with the Rafale deal, that itself is the giveaway. It's a matter between the French government and the private corporate house of Mr. Anil Ambani. Why did the government have to intervene? That itself again clearly shows this cronyism has reached such a very high level. So this is again going to be, I hope, surely a matter of the ongoing Supreme Court investigation, where they have said they have reversed their earlier position, Supreme Court, the same bench. They reversed their earlier position and they said they will examine all the new evidence that has come. So this is going to be the latest input to the new edition. So more and more this government is being caught in the morass of corruption and cronyism. And now has come the latest information that out of the total NPAs, officially government figures have now leaked out, official figures, of 5.56 lakh crores of rupees waived off to the corporates who have taken these loans. 5.56 lakh crores. But then again, the secrecy, who are these people whose loans you have waived? The government says that is secret. So we don't know whose loans the government has waived. Now what does this mean apart from political corruption? And that conduit was the electoral bonds. Now the Supreme Court has an earmark thing, and I'm also one of the petitioners. In the question, I've been demanding that the electoral bonds be scrapped. I meaning the CPIM. That's what it goes in my name as the General Secretary, but it is the party that is there involved in it. That we said scrap the electoral bonds. Supreme Court said that we'll decide later, but right now it asked all the banks and the government to furnish who are the people who has paid how much of these electoral bonds to which party. That means the transparency is at least come to the level of the Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court will know. Many of the honorable judges are also the ones hearing the Rafale case. The Supreme Court will know that who is the ones who gave the electoral bonds. If any of those Ambani companies are involved in giving these bonds, then knowledge is there before the Supreme Court. Now, if once the Supreme Court gets that knowledge, soon the public will also know it. So the electoral bonds route, which they were hoping for all this corruption to be siphoned off to the BJP, that is not working. So on all these matters, I think the people of the country, day by day, are getting greater and greater evidence of the mega loot that has been done by this government, while imposing a mega misery on the people's economic livelihood. This is the sum total of the of the balance sheet of this government. Mega loot of national resources, mega misery for the vast majority of our people. So it is this that is going to determine the election. People are going to vote on the basis of their day-to-day experience, their levels of livelihood that have fallen during the last 5 years, in protest against that, and not on the basis of any emotive appeals that are becoming worse by the day, led by the Prime Minister himself. Finally, the Election Commission had to come down, finally, I say, on the biopic of the Prime Minister, on the Namo channel, and once again, of the way the Prime Minister himself invokes the armed forces. And you've seen the generals who have given this petition to the Supreme Commander of our armed forces, President of India. 2 of them, you have said, have said that they have not signed that petition. But other more than 60 have signed, no? 2 doesn't, not signing doesn't happen. Chiefs of the naval staff, chiefs of the army, former chief of the army, all these people who have signed this, including Surjya Mishra from Bengal, and who was very emphatic when he came out and saying that he wanted to, and he signed it with absolute total conviction. This sort of a grave misuse of the Indian army is also something that is going to be rejected very, very roundly by the Indian people. And what is the meaning of the Prime Minister appealing to the first generation voters, saying that you vote in the name of the Air Force and the Balakot? Now this sort of a blatant misuse that is being done, that is going to be roundly rejected, because now he claimed earlier that he was the Chaukidar on land. After Balakot, he said now he is Chaukidar in sky. After our scientists developed that missile which they developed 7 years ago, which he tested now on a low orbit satellite and destroyed the satellite, now Prime Minister has self-graduated himself as from Chaukidar on land to Chaukidar in air to Chaukidar in outer space. Now he calls himself Chaukidar of outer space. So all that we tell our Honorable Prime Minister is, sir, you're Chaukidar of outer space, please remain there, look after the planet Earth, and leave India to us so that we can save India today and create a better India tomorrow. And that is going to be the overall sentiment among the people. So these are some of the things I wanted to share with you.
If any Congress-led government formed in center, so CPIM will extend support outside.
CPIM is committed for the creation or the establishment of an alternate secular government at the center. What form that alternate secular government will take, that is something we cannot speculate now. In 1996, it was an alternate secular government. After defeating Mr. Vajpayee's 13-day government, that alternate secular government was headed by a non-Congress Prime Minister. In 2004, after Mr. Vajpayee was defeated, that alternate secular government was headed by the Congress Prime Minister. So it all depends on how the results emerge, and on that we will take a decision at that time. जी, इसके बारे में हम ये कहना चाहें कि चुनाव आयोग के लिए कल हम खुद हमारे पार्टी की तरफ से चुनाव आयोग को मिल रहे हैं कल 4:30 बजे। उन्होंने टाइम दिया हमको, और हम काफ़ी असंतुष्ट हैं किस तरीके से पहला चरण का चुनाव हुआ। बंगाल के अंदर भी कई सारी जगह पर जो फोर्सेस भी है वहाँ पर कोई प्रोटेक्शन नहीं हुआ। बहुत सारा प्रचार किया, हम सबका विश्वास है और गर्व है इलेक्शन कमीशन पे, क्योंकि संविधान की धारा 324 के चलते हुए उनके अलावा और कोई अधिकारी नहीं है हमारे देश में जो निष्पक्ष चुनाव करा सकता है, और ये भरोसा देश का उनके ऊपर है और उसको निभाने की दायित्व उनके ऊपर है। लेकिन ये पहला चरण जो हुआ उसके अंदर कई सारे प्रांतों से जो भी कंप्लेंट्स आ रहे हैं, कई सारे लोगों को पहुंचने नहीं दिए, और त्रिपुरा जैसे प्रांतों में तो ये लगा कि बड़ी साजिश के साथ पहला कदम ये था कि पोलिंग एजेंट्स विपक्ष के वो बूथ में जाए ही ना। जहाँ पर रेजिस्टेंस होके गए वहाँ पर उन लोगों को मार पिटाई करके भगा दी। तीसरा मतलब कदम ये था कि लाइन में जो खड़े हैं लोग उनको आइडेंटिफाई करें कौन उनका वोटर हो सकता है, कौन विरोध में, और उन लोगों को वहाँ से मार के भगा दी। और चौथा, 2 घंटे पहले वो पोलिंग बूथ बंद करके अंदर क्या हुआ अब वो तो मतलब सबको पता है क्या हुआ, लेकिन अब वो तो अब इलेक्शन कमीशन को साबित करना होगा कि वो कैसे इसके ऊपर कार्रवाई कर सके। तो इसलिए हम ये कह रहे हैं, कल जाके मिलकर इलेक्शन कमीशन से भी कहेंगे कि इस तरीके की अगर बात एक और चरण चली तो कोई विश्वास रहेगा नहीं लोग। ওটাই তো বলছিলাম আমি কালকে, আমরা যাচ্ছি ওরা বলতে গিয়ে আমরাও অসন্তুষ্ট। এটাই আমি আগে হিন্দিতে এই কথা বললাম, হ্যাঁ, ওদের আগে ইংরেজিতে বললাম, এই জন্য তেলুগুতে বলতে পারি যদি, হ্যাঁ, আমার মাতৃভাষা আছে। কথাটা ওটাই, আমার অনেক অসন্তুষ্ট যে আমি ভাবলাম কি যেরকম কদম ওকে উঠাতে চাই ওটা উঠাচ্ছে না, या হচ্ছে না, কেন হচ্ছে না আমি জানি না। ইলেকশন কমিশন কাছে কালকে যাব এই কমপ্লেন নিয়ে। और ত্রিপুরাতে তো আমি দেখলাম, আমি ওখানে ছিলাম 2 দিন আগেও, और যখন ওখানে ভোটিং হচ্ছিল ওই সময় আমি ট্রাভেল করছিলাম কৈলাস শহরে, তখন যে খবরটা পেয়েছিলাম, তো এটা আমি একটা সেন্ট্রাল আর্মড ফোর্সেস ওখানে ত্রিপুরাতে দেখতে পাচ্ছিল না লোক, দে ওয়ার জাস্ট ইনভিজিবল। আর এটা সব অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্টস দিয়ে, ডোন্ট বি অ্যাফ্রেড অফ ভোটিং, উই উইল প্রোটেক্ট ইউ, উই উইল টেক কেয়ার অফ ইট এটসেট্রা, কাম আউট অ্যান্ড ভোট, এটা সব করে অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট করে। কিন্তু এটা ফাইনাল রেজাল্ট হবে তো কীরকম বিশ্বাস হবে লোকের? তো তাই জন্যে আমরা গায়ে কালকে অ্যাপিল করবো ওরাকে কি যেটাও আছে একটু দুরুস্ত করুন, কি হোয়াট এভার বি দ্য প্রবলেম। আর ইভিএম নিয়ে ফার্স্ট ফেজে ভোটিং যেটা শুরু হতে হলো 8টার সময়, ওটা শুরু হলো 2টার সময়, 3টের সময়। অনেক লোকরা এসে লাইনে দাঁড়িয়ে ফেরত চলে গেল। আন্ধ্রাতে হলো এটা, और অনেক রোদ্দুর ওখানে, और वो হিট ওয়েভে দিয়ে वो হিট স্ট্রোক থেকে বাঁচতে জন্য অনেক লোক এসলো না আবার ভোট ডালতে। और ভোটিং শেষ কখন হলো? সকালে 2টোর সময়, নেক্সট ডে ইন দ্য নাইট 2 AM 3 AM। এটা কি হচ্ছে, মানে কি ব্যবস্থা হচ্ছে with all this modern technology at election commission বললো? Why is this happening that so many glitches in the EVM machines? So this is something they'll have to set right.
The parties tried a seat adjustment with Congress here for maximum splitting of anti-TMC and BJP, but that process could not realize. Do you think it will get some kind of advantage for TMC and BJP? They will get advantage?
No, I don't think it will be an advantage. I'll tell you why. Because politics is not arithmetic. You can't add 2 and 2 together to get 4. In politics, sometimes you put 2 and 2 together, you'll get 22 or you'll get 0. I've said this very often. But the point is very simple. You see, we have said our priority in Bengal is to defeat the BJP to save India, defeat the Trinamool Congress to save Bengal. So our tactics were to be worked out with the objective of maximizing the pooling of anti-BJP, anti-Trinamool votes. With that in mind, we, the left front, announced that unilaterally, in the sitting seats, that is anti-Trinamool, anti-BJP sitting MP seats, there should not be any mutual contest. Unfortunately, that was not accepted by the Congress. They went ahead and announced their candidates in 2 of our sitting seats. We waited for 48 hours, hoping that they'll see some sense, but they continued to say no, they'll fight our 2 sitting seats. So therefore, we chose, since they're fighting 2 of our sitting seats, though they have 4, we will put up candidates only against 2, then they are fighting 2. So our point is to the people of Bengal. Who is the one that is sincere today in fighting the BJP and the TMC? We have unilaterally taken this step. We had expected a response. It's very unfortunate that didn't happen. Now, the point at issue is the people must decide who is the most consistent force in fighting both these forces in the interest of India, in the interest of Bengal.
Where the direct fighting is happening to take place between BJP and Congress, what will be your actual?
Our first slogan of the 3 slogans we adopted, our Central Committee, first slogan is defeat the BJP and its allies. The second is increase the strength of the left in the Lok Sabha. The third, it's not actually priority-wise, so all 3 are important. The third is that to ensure the establishment of an alternative secular government at the center. So defeating BJP is our priority. So whoever can defeat BJP, if we are there, that's fine. If we are not there, in many seats in all over the country, there our line is very clear. That candidate who is the most suited to defeat the BJP, to them we will vote. They could belong to any party, except communal parties, except of that sort. But then that we'll do.
So what about scientists invoking Balapur test by the Bana including the MPs of the central party? What is your opinion?
I'm sorry, garnering the word.
What's your take on the fact that the Prime Minister using the Balapur test by the during the
I said so, no, just now. I said it's completely, not merely unethical, but I think it is anti-democratic. And it is anti-national. I'll go to that extent of saying, trying to appropriate the army as though it is some personal property of some particular Prime Minister or some particular government. And that is what all these veterans have said. Army is the army of the nation. Army is the army of the people. And army's loyalty is only to the Republic of India, as established by our constitution. Anybody who tries to appropriate what the army did for their electoral benefit is actually doing the worst disservice to the country. And that is why we had asked the Election Commission. Now they say that they've asked for the text of what the Prime Minister spoke. It's taking a long time for the text to be delivered, I think, or whether they are deliberating. But the point is, you can't have the UP Chief Minister saying Modi ka army. Ye Modi ka army hai. Earlier when we were asking him simple questions saying, sir, why are you campaigning with 40 of the Pulwama martyrs in the background? No answer. Why is the BJP president claiming that 350 terrorists have been killed in the Balakot? No answer. The next day, Union Home Minister says not 350 but only 300. How? 300 cell phones were working earlier, now they are not working. I hope your cell phones are working. If they are not working, then you are declared dead. So that is over. And then you have another cabinet minister who says, no, it's 450 who died. And then you have a cabinet minister from your state, from Bengal, from Darjeeling, he was elected. He says 0 died, 0, because the Modi government did not want to kill anybody, it wanted to show Pakistan the power it had. So when we say, what are these contradictions? They say, you are anti-patriotic, you are questioning the army, you are questioning us, you want evidence. We are not the ones who are asking for evidence. Why are you speaking in different voices? And then that triggers off questioning. Why has terrorist incident grown by 300%, 200% after Mr. Modi became Prime Minister compared to the earlier 5 years? Why have the deaths of our security forces and civilians increased by 300% in these 5 years compared to the earlier 5 years? You said Uri's terrorist attack, surgical strike. After that, no more terrorist attack. Then Pulwama, Balakot, no more terrorist attack. After that, more than 20 of our armed forces have become martyrs in terrorist attacks. Terrorist bomb blasts take place in Jammu, etc. When you ask these questions, they say you're anti-patriot. How dare you question? What are the facts? What the reality? The country has to be armed, meaning people have to be armed with willpower to fight terrorism. Fighting terrorism is the fight between terrorists and the united India. It's not a fight between terrorists and the ruling party or the opposition party. There is no ruling or opposition parties in the fight against terrorism. And by trying to seek this divide, the Prime Minister and the BJP are playing into the hands of the terrorists who want us to fight each other so that creates a fertile ground for them. This is the misfortune. And this is what the people are seeing through. And I'm sure the answer will be given in the elections.
Sir, Congress President Rahul Gandhi publicly said that he won't speak anything against them. And in his campaign in Bengal, he said a single word against them. So, what do you see of this?
Well, I don't know. Yesterday his helicopter could not land, I think, somewhere. Was not allowed to land or could not land, I don't know, whatever it is. So we don't know what he would have said. But the fact is, yes, he said that he won't say anything against us. But the point is not saying or not saying. The point is that in practice, the maximization of the anti-BJP, anti-Trinamool votes should happen. ওটা বললাম তো আগেই বললাম না কাজ করবে না তো নিশ্চয়ই আপনার সামনে আসছে বলবে কি আপনি কাজ করবো মিলিয়ে তো ওরা যদি কাজ করবে তো আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং যেটা হচ্ছে আমি যেটা কি বললাম আমি বললাম ওদের লজিক্যালি এরা আপনি দেখুন তো যে কম্পিটিটিভ কমিউনিজম দুজনকে শ্যুট করে দুজনেকে ফিড করে তো আইডিয়াল সিচুয়েশন ওরা চাইবে কি আমরা দুজনেই থাকে তো এটা দিয়ে তো আগের স্টেপ আসবে কি আমাদের মাঝখানে কিছু কোঅপারেশন বোধহয় সুচিতা কিছু বলতে পারে
আমি তো আগেই বলছি অনেকদিন ধরে বলছি
আর এটা নিশ্চয় এরকম সম্ভাবনা নিশ্চয় হতে পারে আর ওটা হবে না কি আপনাকে বলে প্রেস কনফারেন্স কল ফর করে ওখানে অ্যানাউন্সমেন্ট হবে না কিন্তু গ্রাউন্ড লেভেলে ওটা হবে ওটাই তো জনগণকে দেখতে হবে ওটাইতে এক্সপোজ করতে হবে কে আছে ফোর্স যে আজকে বিজেপি আর তৃণমূল বিরুদ্ধে জনগণকে মোবিলাইজ করতে পারে বাম ফ্রন্ট ছেড়া আর কেউ নেই আছে বুঝতে পারছি না হ্যাঁ Not at all. Whoever is reporting that is wrong. I said Jyoti Basu recognized the need for their autonomy and their identity. And in respect of that, it was Jyoti Basu's government, Lieutenant government when he was the Chief Minister, that took the initiative in creating that Gorkha, what was it called at that time?
Gorkha Hill Council.
Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council with Subhash Gising at the head. And it was the first time it has happened anywhere in the country, where you had given a full, complete autonomy. And I said there in Darjeeling, where even the financial powers, once you made the allocation, how those monies will be utilized was something that was left to that council. And all of us know how they have been utilized. Those who go to Darjeeling, Mr. Subhash Gising built the alternate road. He built the Gorkha Museum, which is not yet completed, unfortunately, but all sorts of things. So that is what I said. It's not that Jyoti Basu recognized the need for separate state of Gorkha land. And that is the last thing that Jyoti Basu would do, because Why Jyoti Basu? The CPIM will do. I mean, it is not a question of further division of the thing. We are for a united Bengal, and a united Bengal is the strength of Bengal.
Government we also had all-party meeting, 6 scheduled provision for that.
That's what Surjya Mishra is saying. I mean, we went further to give the sixth schedule provision to that area. And in fact, it came up in the parliament. I was then in the parliament. Then we argued and we took up the case. But it was the government then, at that point of time, that was not very clear and sure about it. And then by which time, also the Gurkha movement got divided. They got into various different opinions. But what is happening today, that is what I was critical yesterday in Darjeeling. Whether it is the BJP or whether it is the Trinamool, we say that people of different ethnic backgrounds, different cultures, etc., that coexist in the Darjeeling district. From the Gurkhas, to the Rajbanshis, to the Adivasis, to the Christians, to the tea garden workers, to the tribals. I mean, all of them, they should be unity amongst them and not a divide. That is why we said have a composite council. That's what we did when the left-wing government is there. Today, what is it? You have 16 different boards. You are nurturing. The state government is nurturing this division. And that is detrimental for the unity of Bengal. আমি একবার তো হয়ে আসলাম, আবার যাচ্ছি আমি 17 তারিখে, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23 তারিখে ওখানে ভোট আছে। 5 দিন আমি কেরালাতে থাকবো আর প্রচার করবো আমাদের জন্যে আর লেফট ডেমোক্রেটিক ফ্রন্টের জন্যে, আর প্রচার করবো ইউডিএফকে হারাবার জন্য। হ্যাঁ, আগেই আপনাকে বললাম 2004-এ 61 আমাদের এমপি নির্বাচন হয়ে গেল লোকসভাতে। ও 61 থেকে 57 কংগ্রেসকে হারিয়ে লোকসভা পৌঁছল। তারপরে মনমোহন সিং কংগ্রেস লেড গভর্নমেন্টকে আমরা সমর্থন দিলাম বাইরে থেকে, বুঝলেন তো? যেটা আপনার প্রায়োরিটি কি হয় দেশের জন্য, ওদের উপরে আমরা নির্ধারিত করবো। তখন হর স্টেটে কি হয় ওটা আলাদা কথা। ও কংক্রিট সিচুয়েশন যেটা আছে কেরালাতে, সিপিএম और कांग्रेस डायरेक्टली कन्फ्रंट करे। नेक्स्ट डोर तमिलनाडुते एकटाई फ्रंटे আছে सीपीआईएम कांग्रेस और आपका डीएमके वगैरह, बाकी सब কিছু কন্ট্রাডিকশন না, এরা আলাদা আলাদা সিচুয়েশনে। ওটাই হচ্ছে ইন্ডিয়া। ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ। আপনি বলবেন না? হ্যাঁ,